I am excited to be here with another episode of Poe on the Call. My name is Cris Rivers.
And I'm Mandy Mac.
Yes, and we are here with the incredible Poe coach and owner of Misfit Ariel, Zoe Bentley.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Zoe. I'm excited to hear about Misfit Ariel and your Poe journey. We were reading your bio and you've been in the business for a while. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's been a journey. So it's been at least a decade. So
I love
I'm one of the OGs as far as a student goes. I still remember who a lot of these people were when there was like 12 of them, you know, 12 of the big stars. So mhm.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that. So let's get into the beginning. What started your pole journey?
A Funny or Die video on YouTube. Christina Applegate was pregnant and she did a poll video, and it was like her playing a character as if she were um, selling pole classes for pregnant women. And I thought it was the funniest thing I'd seen, but I also was like, wait a second, are pole classes like a real thing? Because I had only seen Karma Electra's like middle of the night infomercial, and I thought that was just like a, like that was just that and backyard wrestling right after it. And so I had just had my daughter. I was pregnant with her when I saw it, and then I had my daughter, and then about 5.5 months she was when I took my first pole class. I just thought, you know what? I was a gymnast as a kid. This looks like gymnastics. I bet I could do it. No. It was quite the reality check. I walked in, I did a teaser class at a local studio, and it was just 90 minutes of my head spinning, and that was about it. Nothing else moved, just that. Um, and of course, I was intrigued and I signed up for the next session in classic fashion. My husband had said, well, just give it some time and give me a heads up. And I called him on the way home and said, heads up, I'm starting next week. And so it started with one class a week. And then as time went by, probably not, I'm not going to recommend this to people, but I had gone up to like 4 or 5 classes a week as time went on, and just piling it on because I was not a natural. And I was at a studio where each time you went for 8 weeks, then you leveled up. Well, I didn't understand how to do the first level of stuff. And so now it's all this other brand new stuff. And so I was told, just take more classes and then you'll see it more than once a week. And I thought, okay. And so as I continued to not really progress like everybody else around me, I just kept adding classes until I blew my shoulder. So, and so that's how that went. And then a year of rehab and not using the right side of my body, still going to classes, just relearned from the ground up how to do stuff on my left side. So as an instructor, I'm a huge proponent for not expecting you to have it be perfect on both sides. You're going to have your good, graceful side, and you're going to have your wild, janky side. That's okay. Just try it because, number one, you may surprise yourself what you're actually capable of. And number two, Paul always has a way of having you have to pick your poison. Of, well, do I want to do my opposite side Jasmine to do my good side butterfly, or vice versa? So I always, as an instructor, I do emphasize, just try it at least. You don't have to be an expert at it, but just try it. So that's kind of how I got my beginning back in 2012. And I've been to several studios in the area as a student, as a member. And yeah, and then I started teaching in 2020. So I'm still a newbie, I feel, in the teaching field, just 4 years. So, but it's been fun. So learning every day, either from my students or just my own education. So
Love it.
I
I love
know.
also like I feel like every single OG polar we interview, they're like, don't do this at home, but I practiced every single day.
yeah, we all have our learned it the hard way.
Mhm.
I feel like I tell my students, like I did, I don't know, I get weird ADHD rabbit holes, and I went down the rabbit hole of like how many like how big is the fitness industry versus how many pole and aerial studios are there, and it turns out that it's probably roughly estimated like 1% of the fitness industry is like pole and aerial if you kind of go on things. And so I tell people, I'm like, that means that if you're in a room of 100 people, you're the only one who spends your time upside down. That's pretty kick ass in my book, So, just whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, just walking through these doors, you're already better than everybody else. Like, like you've got a leg up, already. So just have some confidence in that, just relish in that. So,
I love that.
Me too. And I appreciate how you mentioned, because it's so important, the importance of practicing both sides. Because you're right, Poe often does have you pick your poison on, do I want to do this jasmine if it's going to put me on this side of my butterfly? And also when you mentioned the injury, sometimes you may need that other side when you're
mhm.
sitting back the other side that you just injured. And it's a good reminder to constantly share that with people.
Yeah.
So have you mentioned you were a student and then you started teaching 2020. Did you ever start competing or have any of that?
Nope. No, I like to go to the competitions. I like to watch. The most I'll do is I'll perform in our like local showcases and stuff like that. But showcases we either have held at now my own studio or at previous studios that I've either attended or you know, yeah, as a student or worked at. Um, and I actually didn't even start performing until I think 2019. I came to a studio and I was told, well, if you don't perform, you're basically like the only one who isn't performing. And I'm like, okay. And so, so I performed, and I actually don't, I've only recently performed on pole, and it was at our latest October showcase, and you got to see me perform on pole for about 27 seconds. So it's I usually pick Lyra or sling to perform on, but I do have it on my bucket list. At some point, I will do a pole routine, but I got to tell you, I started putting one together a couple years back, and I don't know how the hell people perform on that apparatus. It is endurance on steroids. It is just, I don't know how people do it. I'm like, holy cow, I'll go back to, I need support. I need a Lyra or a sling. I need to just hang here like a dead baby or something. I don't know. You can't on a pole. It's just up and down. So, yeah, but yeah, so I don't do competitions, but I love supporting others, either from studios I've been or just going, it's always fun to see the creativity, not only as like a character, but just the combinations of the moves themselves. And, because sometimes people, I'm like, I would have never thought to put those two moves together like that. Like, that's really fun. And I like going to PSO because I feel like there's less restraint on what you're allowed to do. So that's where you really get to see the creativity of each performer and how I mean, already when you could have 8 performances on a pole and you're going to have 8 different styles. But with the way that they set up the categories and stuff, you even get deeper into that nitty gritty of what that style can be. And I really enjoy seeing that. So it's a lot of fun. I encourage people to go, especially those with students like mine that are in the beginner intermediate. I'm like, they always go, oh, I don't know how to put these moves together. I don't know how to do it. Come to a competition and you'll see, it's fun to see. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that with us, honestly, because in this industry, competitions are huge and it really I feel it intimidates a lot of students, and you don't always need to be performing or competing. You can just go and enjoy it and still learn so much from the experience.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you create in the future, though.
Yeah, there's always that running, in the background, the constant playlist of routines for the future, and then which apparatus would work right, and then buying a costume for it, and then not performing it. Yeah. But well, you
Like,
had to have a costume. Yeah, we had to have a costume. Otherwise, what's the point? And then, I mean, it was a good sale. That Dancewear Solutions gets me every time with that free shipping, you know.
I love them
So,
too. Yeah,
and final sale. Oh, okay.
you got
Let's
it.
get going. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love also like you mentioned, like the sling and the Lyra. I also like them because they were a comfortable seat, like a nice place to rest. What would you say
Yeah.
is your favorite aerial apparatus then?
Lyra.
The Lyra.
Lyra. That is the one that Paul I've been doing it's been a long time since I've been a student, but I have been an ongoing student continuously with Lyra for I think it's 9 years. So it's the one apparatus that I feel the most comfort to FAFO on without feeling like I can really get hurt. Whereas with a pole, it's just straight up and down, you know? Um, so, and also I like it because it's a great cross trainer to pole, but also I have found that for myself in particular, there are certain moves that just are seemingly unattainable for my body to be able to get into on a pole because of how vertical it is, and it's not as forgiving. Whereas with Lyra, because of the circle of it, I can shift my hips in a way where I don't have a big 45 millimeter bar jamming me back. I have like a 1 inch bar. And so there's been certain moves that I've been able to unlock for myself on a Lyra that I still struggle with. Like even something as simple as the cross knee release, I teach that in pole, but I have to really make sure that I keep my nerves together so I don't sweat and get, you know, sweaty and then slip. But on a Lyra, because you can put your foot through, I feel safer. There's like an extra contact point. Or like with my Aishas, I struggle to do those myself on a pole, but I can do them on a Lyra. Whether you want it on a double tab, a single tab, a hand loop, do you want it inside? Do you want it outside? I can do those. And so to me, that boosted my confidence. But then also doing Lyra, it boosted my upper body strength to where now my upper body now matches a little bit better to be able to make those moves more attainable for me on pole as well. So that's why I really like it. Once I reached a certain level in my practice to be able to go, okay, what's really difficult for me to do on pole? I want to see if I can do it on Lyra. And then, oh, it's hard on Lyra, but not as hard as it was on pole. So that keeps me coming back. So, and that's what my selling point is for my own classes. Just be like, hey, if you're struggling here, maybe try this one. So, yeah.
Right? Everyone, it's so interesting how everyone's body like understands physics in different ways. Like for me, the layback on a Lyra scares the crap out of me, but I'll do it all day long on a pole.
Yeah. I'll do it no handed, no holding or anything on a Lyra, and on a pole. Mm-mm. I'm gripping everything I can, and it's only been a few times that I've been able to like let go of my ankle, and I feel like I have old Barbie legs. Like, like when you had the Barbie and you try to bend it and then bounce back. And I can remember in my own like early years, I had an instructor when I was learning my inside leg hang versus my outside leg hang, and she'd come by and pull my leg down for outside leg hang or Gemini, and my knee would just pop right back up. And it wasn't until like it wouldn't go into that locked position. I wasn't told to shift my hips or, maybe, you know, pull yourself, pull your chest up more to get more into, so you can get the pull next to your, in between in that sweet spot, and that, that sweet meat that we have on the side of our hip, or right above it. I wasn't told those things. And I don't blame that instructor for it. Again, this was 12 years ago. We didn't have the education that we have now. The market wasn't as saturated as it is now. But it wasn't until I learned how to do leg switches from inside to outside that all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, now my knee bends. And so it took a different approach for me and that was kind of the first time that it was like, I thought outside leg hang was just unattainable for me. And because I was never doing it correctly, but I needed a different entrance. And once I had that, then it was like, well, what is happening here? Why is my knee now it can do it? So it was just my body needed to be in a different position from the start. So, it's all the long learned lessons of doing it the hard way. So
Oh my gosh. Have you tried the lollipop Lyra? Which is
I haven't. Um, a friend of mine has, and I haven't. I'm intrigued. I'll try anything once, you know. Yeah, I like, I just haven't had the opportunity. I don't know anyone around here that has one, or if they do, they haven't offered me to be able to hop on it. So, yeah, but if I ever find the chance, I definitely will. I mean, come on, we're in Poland Aerial. I mean, I have a net in my trunk. I bought it, used it once for a photo shoot. I have a pocket Lyra. I mean, I think we become apparatus junkies, and this is an expensive, I hate to use the word hobby, but it starts out that way for some of us. It's expensive either way, with all the apparatuses and costumes, always costumes for class and costumes for routines that don't happen or whatever.
shoes.
Oh, yeah, and I have two pairs of shoes, and I'm not really a heels person in class. I'm a baby giraffe. So that is, even after all these years, yeah, that'll be a challenge. So, I'll take it on at some point. Probably next week I'll teach with heels on. So just bear with me, class. So
Love it.
Do you have a favorite style of pole?
roll around on the floor and twerk it out.
I love it.
Anything that allows me to keep my pants on. I mean, I think I, yeah, I thought in the beginning, because I had a background in gymnastics, that I used to watch all of the videos of like all the tricksters. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do that one day. And then reality hit me, and my body is just, no, that's not going to happen. And I started pole when I was 33, I think. So I don't want to say in my later years, but I was older in compared to a lot of the people that were in my class, and I just had a baby. And I came from working out, like CrossFit and powerlifting and that kind of stuff. So it was a completely different change. So when I first started it, I didn't come into pole trying to get sexy. That truth be told, I've only gotten more comfortable with that side of myself as an instructor because I was told you're the exception, not the rule. Most people come into pole to get in touch with their more feminine side or to feel more sexy. And I was just like, okay, so, and it's part of that beginner curriculum, so as time has gone by, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it, and my choreography shows that. But I would say for my own personal side, I'm probably more fitness forward. That's what I tell people when they come to my classes. Like, we're going to laugh a lot. We're going to warm up for a while. We're going to do a lot of conditioning that's going to help strengthen your foundation. We're going to learn a couple of skills, and then you can follow along with me at the end to dance. And by that point, I'm going to be probably laying on the floor a lot, and doing that kind of stuff because I'm tired too. And, so I think for me, I really do enjoy, since I'm a personal trainer, as, my past education, I really enjoy deep diving into the nitty gritty of like, how can we get this move to possibly work for you? And also being more supportive from the get-go with having progressive exercises that work towards the big moves like inverts and shoulder mounts and climbs and butterflies and handsprings. I'd rather brass monkey. I mean, my students know like all of this starts on the floor, starts away from the pole even, and just kind of building from there. So I tend to take a slower pace with my students, not to hold them back. They still set the pace, but I really want to make sure that they're like my children. I want them to be better than me. I want them to get their skills faster than me. It took me 9 months to get a butterfly. It takes them sometimes just maybe a couple months, at the most. Okay. I'm not in any rush. And my clients tend to be older. They tend to be between 30 and 45. So, and working moms or just working desk jobs. We're not athletes. You come to me one day a week, we're going to do a little bit more conditioning and stuff like that than jumping into the fun stuff because I want to make sure that your body is ready for it. You'll thank me later, but, so you don't have the injuries that I have, so.
Right, we're a little bit like that at Pole on the Wall too. We're all older, so we take a little bit more care of our bodies and pass that along to our students. So thank you for bringing that up because I think sometimes, well, different studios might be totally different, have lots of youngsters.
Oh yeah, I mean it's crazy even with like I love watching those posts where it's like I even have saved some of them on Instagram or YouTube where they're like, here's a beginner combo, and then it's like a freaking shoulder mount, and I was like, what? Like this is okay, that's if you're doing your Superman and you're going upside down in your first class, like please don't say you're a beginner. That's and I realize too, like maybe it's because I'm in the middle of the Midwest and I live outside of Chicago. Like we're out in the cornfields, like we like a slower pace. There's a drawl out here, so we're gonna equate that with our pace as well. Whereas when you have like LA, New York, Chicago, that's a different culture, I think, and also it's a bigger pool of people, I think, and so and they're coming from, I don't know, everybody comes in from different levels no matter where you're at. But I just think, yeah, my pace is not Chicago paced. It's Montgomery, Illinois paced. And I'm 46 years old. So, and my kids don't care if I injured myself. They still want dinner. And, so it doesn't matter. I need to make sure I can at least preserve myself. So, but I think it sets a good example for my students. I tell them, when did you think you were going to get this skill on the first class? Like your intermediate level is such a chasm from your beginner. Beginner is like spins and floor and accents. But now intermediate is, okay, hold your body weight and do it upside down. It's just two completely different worlds. So you got to change the mindset. And so there's a lot of psychology when you're with people. They are like children. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Right. And once you go upside down, you can never go back.
Yeah, or you don't know how to come back down, so you're kind of stuck there, and then here I come to help you down. Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about where you teach?
Yeah, so I teach at Misfit Aerial. We're located in Montgomery, Illinois. So we're probably, what is that? About an hour or so outside of Chicago. We're west of Chicago. Yeah, so we soft opened last year, October 30th, and we officially opened January 1st of 2024. At that time, we had, let's see, by January 1st, we had 8 members, and now we have 12. So there are 11 of us that are pole or aerial instructors, and then 1 photographer who puts on like special like fantasy photo shoots and stuff like that. So it's been really fun. And we're expanding. So we're in the process of we took over the rest of the half of the building. So we went from 1,200 square feet to over 3,000. So we are building out a 1,000 square foot dedicated pole studio, and we're only putting 6 poles in there. So the 6 that we have right now, they're just getting moved into that room. And so there'll be a lot of space in between, but it will also be able to hold 4 aerial rig points so that we can also have that be for showcases, because that's kind of a big deal. We like to put those on, and so big nice room to do it in. So we'll have the one side that has 2 aerial rooms, each is about 600 square feet, and then now the other 1,000 square feet for dedicated pole. Because right now I take the poles down every Tuesday night and then put them back up Friday night, and then take them back down sometime on Saturday, and then put them back up on Sunday or Monday, just because of the rhythm of the studio. So I'm very much looking forward to when the other spaces open. So I only have to take poles down maybe a few times a year. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was going to be one of my questions, because we interviewed, but I don't want to say tenants, because I also want to know more about the business model that you guys have going on. But Laura of Elevated Aerial told us about you, and we were so interested. And it was laughing because I always dreamed about like pole in the mall and having like everything just together in one space, and you've done that. So I wonder, I guess we can first start with like, what is it, a co-op, or what type of business is this?
It's a community. The members, the ones who pay the memberships, are the instructors. So myself included, I am one of those members. I pay the membership just like everybody else. And then we rent the space for our classes. And then after that, it's off to the races. Everyone is their own business. So their clientele is their clientele. Their clients pay them directly. And it's been really good. It allows everyone the freedom to teach what they want, teach who they want, how they want. And also allows our clients to kind of bounce around. And I know a few of us share clients back and forth. Someone might take pole with me, but take aerial with somebody else, or when it's workshop time, to jump around. And like I said, we're early in this, in our infancy. So we're all learning at the same time. So there's a lot of conversations between us, and which is good. It's very collaborative. Everyone's kind of, I guess as much as we are each other's competition, because we're not competing with 5 area studios. We're kind of competing with each other, but it doesn't really feel that way because we all had we had our followings. We had our, some of us, we've been building since we got in. And we're watching each other and talking to each other like, well, what worked for you? How did you get those new clients? Or, hey, I'm going to do this marketing strategy and see what works and what doesn't. And then, and as Misfit, this is where I wear a second hat, I try to be as much of a resource for them as possible. Like I have someone who is running a workshop here in a couple of weeks. And I said, well, give me the content and I'll send out a newsletter. Because I've got a pretty big following of email addresses as Misfit. So let me send it out and see if you can get any more interest in your business. And same with the Instagram. I'm not a very big social media person. I'm trying to be better at it. I'd rather just lurk in the shadows. Truth be told, my Instagram was literally the back of my head for the longest time. And my sister said, I know that's you. I know that neck anywhere. And I'm like, damn it. And so being more out there it's different, but I think what we have going at Misfit has been really good. I mostly just did it because I just wanted to be left alone. I don't like people telling me what to do, and anything that people tell me to do, I've coined the term, I'm positively spiteful. Like I'll do it with a smile on my face, but I operate very well out of spite and just people telling me, no, you can't do that, or that's not what everybody else does. I know. That's why I wanted to do it. But I've been very honored by the amounts of positive reception that it's gotten. And so far, just from the people that have come on to be members and to take the leap with me, I don't take that lightly. I have a lot of people depending on me now. Some that they teach one day a week, maybe 1 or 2 classes here or there because they have a 40 to 50 hour of work, job during the rest of the week. But there are some, this is their job. This is how they pay their mortgage and their bills. And I wanted something better for us in this industry, in the sense that, well, number one, I didn't want employees or contractors. I didn't want to deal with any of that. And with that comes a level of control. And I didn't want to control anybody either. I didn't want a boss, but I also didn't want to be anybody else's boss. I just want to continue to do what I love. And I wanted that for everybody else. So it's my little slice of libertarian paradise in this world, and it's working. And I'm really happy to see us grow and to see others that have come on and to see their businesses grow as well, and to hear that they once the new space opens, that they want to add to their classes, add to their schedule. That fills me with so much joy for them. It's really really inspiring and fun to be in at a front seat to see other people's growth as well. It makes me want to be better, but not in a competitive kind of way. Just I'm surrounded by excellence, and that makes me want to be better. I'm not saying imposter syndrome doesn't poke its head up. It definitely does. But I know my students, they like me for me. That I sell my personality, you know. And everybody else does the same. And it's really fun. I don't know. I equate the business like it's an old Simpsons where Mr. Burns goes to the doctor and they show all of his diseases in the doorway. And they're just like, it's the perfect, it only works because nobody can get through. That's how I kind of feel as the top of the pack of all of these personalities. Because we're all divas. That's just the pole and aerial community. We're all a bunch of divas, but it somehow works. And I'm really happy that it works. So that is my biggest driver, is just to continue to keep the lines of communication open amongst the instructors, either with me or with each other. And we're all adults, and let's figure it out, and let's be collaborative. Let's build a community, especially after COVID. A lot of that was really broken. And I really missed that from previous studios who really did it right. And then I'm trying to do that again. Like, be better,
Right? Thinking outside of the box. I always like laugh because I'm like, oh, there's so many like options, but none of them seem right for pole dancing. There should be like a secret third thing. And this sounds like the secret third thing.
As far as what?
Like business models, like because you said that you didn't want to have employees or independent contractors. And as we learn more about like business, it doesn't really it's not really for us in the pole industry. It doesn't really make sense for us. So there should be like some other thing for us to do.
And she's
Yeah.
love it. The membership is genius.
Right. So as far as like you right now, you just have the one space and all of the members are sharing the space. So no one can plan a class at the same time as another member. Is that how it goes, or?
No. So for aerial, we have 2 rooms. So we have, for example, on Thursday nights, this is kind of a perfect example of how Misfit is. So on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., for example, one room is being operated by one business, and then in the back room, myself and another business are operating at the same time, sharing that space. So she has one half of the room and I have the other half of the room, and we warm up our students together. And it's actually, and she's teaching Lyra and I'm teaching sling, and it's a lot of fun. It's, just to, again, build that community amongst even the members who probably otherwise would have never met each other. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So that's how that works. Honestly, I had no idea. I knew that I wanted to build a space that took the safety of aerialists like seriously. So we have a mod truss that we had it custom fabricated. My husband and I designed it, and then we had performance rigging solutions through the design and everything. And so we have lower out pulley systems. So no more ladders. We all came from studios that had ladders too. And we also have 6 foot by 6 foot and 8 inch thick crash mats underneath each rig point. So there's 6 rig points in each room. And so each person gets their own crash mat, and we got those from AK Athletics. It's their aerial specific crash mats. So, and it's funny because those were like the star of the show. Here I've got this big ass truss, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Oh my God, those crash mats. And then the first month of being open, I would say we had to have some conversations with some people because it was like, okay, just because we have good crash mats doesn't mean you just like fling yourself around. Like there still needs to be some responsibility here, you know, like they're crash mats. They're not foolproof, you know, but I think a lot of us came from studios where the best we could get was maybe a tumbling mat. And despite constant, like, can we please get some mats? And so when I was having kids ask me if they could get more crash mats underneath them, kids, I thought there's something here that's I need to really look into. And so when I built Misfit, safety was definitely at the forefront of my mind, and it really has paid off. I mean, not to say that there isn't still personal responsibility and also, you know, good coaching and all that kind of stuff, but I think when people walk into the facility, seeing a big steel truss that, you know, can hold 12 rig points. We designed it as if we had 12 180-pound people doing a single slack drop at the same time. Could it hold it? Yes, it can. That'll probably never ever happen, but in case. And then with the lower out systems, those have come into use a couple of times. Really glad we had them as someone gets stuck. And then, like I said, having it so that the space could be adaptable. So the poles, I went with loop it. So I just remove them up and down with a little pole cart every week. And yeah, so, but like I said, most of us are aerialists. In the beginning, we had, right now there are 2 pole instructors that only teach pole. There are 4 pole instructors, but 2 of us teach other apparatuses. So everybody else is aerial. So that's where it was kind of like, whoa, I definitely tapped into something here, because just for people to come in and be like, oh my God, look at these pulley systems and those crash mats. So yeah, the star of the show. I've thought about doing just an Instagram post, just featuring just our crash mat, you know, just
featuring safety.
yeah, just the crash
Good.
mat.
They eat that stuff up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for describing that a little bit more. It's just so interesting and awesome. It was hard for me to understand, but now I'm kind of seeing more. It definitely does sound like a community, and that's so awesome, like a great way for everyone to like work together. I like how you guys share the warm up, and then you split up. Like that's so cool.
Right, we've learned about different ways to start studios, and then this is definitely a new one, and I'm so
Right?
intrigued by it, and I can't wait to see where it brings you all in the future. That's so exciting.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's been fun. I need to keep breathing, but yeah, I keep telling myself, oh, I'll take a break in January. And then I'm like, oh no, I've got this thing planned in January. Maybe February? No, no, not in February. Getting another certification in February. Okay, maybe March. Nope. Traincation and showcase season. Okay, maybe June, you know, like so it's good though. It's been a lot of fun. It Days can get hectic, but overall, I don't really find it too stressful. I have a very supportive husband. I also have very supportive friends who are also my members. And so, like I said, I have I have a good community around me, and then I'm expanding it even beyond them with the mentorship program and doing things like this. So, and meeting more people. So my world is getting bigger and bigger, which puts me a little bit more at ease. I don't, not to say that I'm not very busy, but I know I'm in good hands. So yeah, it's a ride.
It is, and it's so fun. I will say, taking a break in the pole industry is like hard. You're always like working on something new. You're always working on a new certificate, working on a new showcase, working on new things for the studio. Um, but it is such a rewarding thing.
It is. Yeah, definitely is. I never thought I would ever be an instructor, ever. I didn't want to teach. It was, I didn't think I had it in me. And the studio that I was at, they didn't have like a dedicated beginner program. And I said, well, if I design a curriculum, can I teach it? And I'm very thankful for my friends who took a chance on me because I definitely have a mouth on me and I will let you know when I don't like something. And so that was her own reservation. And, but I'm thankful every day that she vouched for me. And so I always want to do right by her because, if it weren't for her taking that chance on me, I wouldn't be here today and she wouldn't be one of my members. So, because I brought her with me. So, it's been a lot of fun.
I believe it. Do you mind? Goodness, we still have a couple questions, but you brought up the teacher toolkit mentorship. Do you mind talking about that experience a little? Because I think that's a beautiful experience. I'm so glad to hear that you're going through it.
Yeah, so it was, I don't even know. Well, I, uh, I kind of signed up for it, not really knowing what all was going to be involved with it. So I actually signed up for two different certs at the same time. And then my ADHD kicked in and I was like, Fran, I went through everything and I'm ready for my level one. And I just like got it done. And, I don't even think we maybe had our first Zoom call. And I was just like, I'm done, and just, to get it. But yeah, and because I don't know, but it's been a lot of fun and just a wealth of information and just resources and validation has been the biggest thing. Like just whether it's how to focus your social media ads or how to, you know, how to create a more inclusive or safe environment for your students, or how to get them on a better progressive track. It's been very validating to know that I've kind of been bumblefucking my way through it. And then of course there are things that I didn't know that I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that, and sometimes they work for my business and sometimes they don't. I don't take it as, oh, that was bad advice. It's just, we all have different businesses and we all are in different areas and different industries, just it is what it is. But it's been a lot of just a lot of information. I'm very thankful to Fran for being so available and so just here, take it. Here's my knowledge, carry it on. And I've had that opportunity with a few others in real life here, like that I definitely, again, I don't take it lightly. I want to do right. And also just to be at a point where it wasn't until I owned my own business that now I can actually go somewhere, because before I was teaching anywhere between 12 to 15 classes a week across 2 studios. There was no sub, or if there was, I could maybe get a sub for like 1 class. And it was like, Now, if I want to sub, I have somebody sub my classes and take care of it, or they just pay that person. Hey, so and so is going to be subbing that week. You pay her, you know, or I just cancel class. That's okay too. My students, they know if I'm going someplace, it's probably because number one, I need the vacation, or number two, I'm going to get further educated. So it's going to come back to help them. So yeah, I've been just eating it up with what Fran's been giving me, and I'll be doing the level 2 cert in January, and then I know she's talking about the business one. I forget what it's called, where it's just deep diving into the business side of it. So I'm deciding on whether or not I'm gonna do that one. We'll see. I also have another certification. Ugh, I don't know. I'm just spending that money. So my students are paying me to pay certifications, but it's good, you know.
Her business
So
incentive does look fun. The teacher toolkit mentorship, if y'all can ever check it out, I definitely recommend it. It is so worth the money. I have made the money I spent on it and then some back. Um, Always got to shout out Fran because she is just changing the game out there for everyone.
Yes,
mhm.
and we have two interviews with her in our past podcast interviews with Paul McCall. So if you want to learn more about Body Bag Brain, go check those out.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm also in the stage where you are, where I know the benefits of the business intensive and I want to take it so much, but I'm like, can I afford it at this time with everything else going on?
Yeah, it's not even affording it necessarily financially. It's just, do I have the mental space to take on all that's going to come with it, you know? So, yeah, I'm definitely coming up to that. Like, I'm trying to finish up another cert right now with Dr. Emily Rausch, and I really enjoy it. It's the How Not to Fuck Up Your Students, the instructor portal. Holy cow, I love a good deep dive, but I'm in the middle of that energy systems right now, and I'm like, I'm trying not to, like, it's good, but I'm also going, how does this work in my classes? Like, they don't care. They're eating, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm trying to like figure it out. And part of it is just to tickle my own like brain. But yeah, I'm a few weeks behind on that. I think they're supposed to be finishing up, I think, next week, and I will not be. I'm a little behind, but thankfully you can chip away at it. But holy cow, it is. She said that it was going to be intensive. And I thought, oh, okay, sciencey, whatever. I was pre-med, I was pre-chiropractic back in the college days, and I thought, oh, no big deal. I had no idea. I mean, I love it, but it's rabbit hole, but it's good. But yeah, just trying to figure out how to, that's been the biggest thing with all of this further education, just trying to figure out how to fit it all into what I'm doing now, how to like take little bits here and there and just try it a little bit at a time so that I don't completely throw my students for a loop, because I tried a cardio thing and they were like, what the hell is this? And I was like, it's a warm up, guys, and they're just like, nah. So, I try to make it fun. I try to like, it's fine. You don't have to, but yeah, they
Who
let
are
me
you?
know.
And who took our Zoe?
Yeah, they let me know. My students, your students always are like so my students are my karma for sure. They're like squirrels, they're not really listening. I have to show them 50 times, and that's me as a student. Could you do it again? Third time, slower. I wasn't listening. I what? So it, but I love them. They're, they're what it's all for. Even if it is herding cats.
Too funny, OMG. I know we talked a lot about pole business and your studio. I have to ask, do you have a favorite pole trick?
Oh God, I know. You know, this was the one question that I really like have been pondering all week. And I'm like, what is it? I definitely have a bucket list, but I would say as a student, my favorite spin was the back hook because it was the first spin I ever got. Because they said just fall backwards. And I'm like, oh, well, I've been falling forward and it hasn't been working out for me. So let's try falling backwards. And it did. And so that I really enjoyed. Um, for my students, I really enjoy teaching them their firemen because truth be told, that that spin I did not get until about 6 years ago. And people are like, that's like your first spin. And I was like, yeah, welcome to my journey because and so I've really, really worked on breaking it down. And I've got your two matching arrows on the same side of the pole pointing in the direction that your hips have to fall. And I've really taken it down to a nitty gritty that I like to do. And it really makes me proud when I see them get it. They don't have to get it on the first day. And I always tell them, don't judge this class on the first time because your body's going, what the heck, you know? But come back a second time because your muscles are going, oh, we've kind of done this before. And even if it's not a full spin, just anything. And I love getting to experience their excitement when they get it. And the fact that they're getting their skills way faster than I ever did. It's like I said, that's why I teach. I want them to be better than me. And that's all I'm here to do. I'm here to help you be successful in your journey. And so yeah, that's I would say, yeah. So back hook for me, sorry, that's my dog, and fireman spin for my students.
Yes, I love those, both of them. You can easily add to transitions, especially the back hook, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to ask, do you have a pole nemesis?
um, well, Superman, definitely. You'll learn one way from me, one way. If you want to learn another, I have several colleagues that you can go and learn from them. I don't know that and ankle. Cross ankle is, I will teach it, but I will not do it. And actually, that one is the one that kind of universally in our studio, that is the one that people are like, I will teach you how to do it, but I will not do it myself. Out of the four of us, every single one of us has had a bad experience with that move. And it's so funny because that's how I kind of pinpoint who's a home poler when they walk into my studio. Cause they'll be like, oh, why don't you kind of show me what you know? And next thing you know, they're like, they aerial invert and then they go right into like a spinning cross ankle release. I'm like, you taught yourself at home, didn't you? You know, it's like, I love the move. I love it. And I'm like so jealous that they can do it so easily. And then just for myself, I immediately get thigh sweat and nope, it's just not going to happen. But I do like teaching it to my students that want to learn it. And I have a couple that have, and I like seeing that for them. That's good for you. That's so good for you, not me.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that honestly, because um, we can teach it even though we don't like it. We can get them in it.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily have to get up there and do it. Like, truth be told, I know part of the issue is I just, for whatever reason, have a hard time with internal rotation with my legs, and you need a lot of it for that move. And for whatever reason, I have a limit. And, but for one of my students, I mean, she surprised the hell out of me by doing a legit crucifix on a sling. And I don't mean the sling was like closed and together, and she just mounted it like a pole and then let go upside down. And I was like, I'm going to teach you cross ankle next time we're in pole because I think you could do it. And I was like, I was just floored. I'm not going to try that, but I said, if you ever perform, put that in there because that's a showstopper. You know, I've never seen anything like that before. It was so cool. About dropped to the floor and bowed to her in her presence, you know, just, oh my God, I'm not worthy.
Like all of the squeeze.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my
That
God.
is who get the students better than us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to ask, did you have any advice for anyone looking to provide a space for aerial or pole or anything or performance?
What do you mean? What, I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand the question.
Oh, just if you had any advice for anyone who is looking to maybe do something like what you have going on. How?
Oh, like to start their own? Whether, you know, whether they're using my model or anything, I have a student who recently opened her own studio, and I just said, make sure that you surround yourself by the right people and also know your boundaries. Say no. And either just to yourself, knowing that you have the limit. My plate is full. I cannot take on anymore. And just take it a day at a time. It's a lot owning a business. And I was a professional coattail rider for a very long time as a happy wife, happy life. And, you know, so to be a business owner and of two businesses, I kind of just threw myself in the deep end, and it's been good. That's the only way I'll do it. Just throw myself in. But yeah, I don't think that I would be where I'm at if I wasn't surrounded by the good supportive people that I have around me. And I'm very thankful and appreciative that I have a pretty good sized community. But even if you just have one person in your corner, and if that's your life partner, your business partner, your best friend, somebody who's going to help you keep your head on straight, and lead you in the right way, and be the one to tell you when you start to waver and go, no, you're a badass, you know, or just calm down, or whatever it is. That's what I encourage. Like, it's a big world out there, and this is a small community. Even if some of the areas that we're in have more than one studio, there's a lot of people out there, and this is a really fun industry to be in as far as for exercise and friendships. And it's so much fun to be in a class where you have everyone from the young college kid to the stay-at-home mom to the lawyer to the corporate bigwig to everything else in between, and we're all sucking at the same time, or succeeding at that move. You know, it's like, it's really the equalizer. And I wouldn't have met the people that I know today if it hadn't been for this. And I was not a group fitness person. I was the put a hoodie on, put my earbuds in, go work out on a machine, don't talk to me. And when I didn't do group classes, I didn't like it. Don't talk to me. Like, I'm not here to socialize. Whereas with pole and aerial, like, there's a lot of socializing, but a lot of it is bitching about the moves that we have to do or the conditioning that we're doing, and we're all bonding on that, and that's fine. Again, go back to the spite, positively spiteful. We'll get through it together. And so that's what I recommend to people. Like, figure out what model works for you. This is what worked for me based on my personality and kind of based on what I was willing to risk to go my own way. If you want employees, have employees. It's great. If you want 1099 contractors, do it. Whatever makes you happy, whatever brought you to the yard, just do what makes you happy. That's all that I can really say.
Yes, thank you for that advice. And I should also add to check in with your local state rules as well, because it might be different for wherever you are. So make sure that you look into that. But also, thank you for a beautiful new way for, Ariel and Pole to exist together in the same space. I think that is a way for us to all evolve in our craft. So that I can't wait to see more of that. Please make more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate the conversation and just having this opportunity. It's I just went for it, so, and Laura wanted me to make sure that I let you know that our truss is 14 feet high at the top, and underneath our poles are 13 feet long, and our ceilings go up to, I think, 19 feet, but they're slanted and we're not hooked up to those anyways because the truss is independently bolted to the floor. So at some point, if any of us ever get insured, myself included, for anything beyond 13 feet, then I'll think about expanding upwards. But for right now, we're expanding outwards. And that's enough expansion for me at this time. But just setting the record straight, 13-foot poles and a 14-foot truss.
Love it. I was going to ask.
She goes, you should open the interview with that. And I was like, that would be really funny. I'm here to set the record straight. So I'll have to, at least I got it in. So, because it would have been a shame to go through this whole thing and not set it straight. So shout out to Laura. It's good.
Yeah.
We're good.
I love it. Those are some tall poles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And coming from Slovenia, yeah, it was, thank you, Lupit, for shipping them.
They come in one piece. Yeah.
These ones did. Yeah, they did. And they actually shipped very quickly, but then they sat in customs at the airport for 3 weeks.
Oh, of course.
So yeah. I was like, can't I just come and pick them up? And they were just sitting at O'Hare. Come on, just let me come and get it. It's July. I got to get them out of the plastic. Oh. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Love it. Well, I guess, Christy, do you have any other questions to ask? I think we were.
I know we asked so much and we covered so much.
I'm a talker. So.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I guess I like to kind of ask and think, where do you hope to see yourself with your studio or with Poe in the next 2 to 5 years?
I don't know. I think each year, looking back, going, oh my God, can you remember when we were doing this? And now it's just like some old thing. Like I really hate like the part in the new job when you're like, I know a month from now I'm going to know how to wait on these tables. Like, it's just like, I'll know this menu inside and out. Like, can I just get to that part? And so I realized like in this industry and just with us all growing as businesses, I think in 2 years, we'll all have found our groove. And by 5 years, I have no idea. By 5 years, my daughter will be 18 and we'll evaluate, at that point, because then she'll be graduated high school and let's see where she's going to go. And at the end of the day, if all else fails, I can use this mod trust to be the standing walls of a new home in a different state. So I'll repurpose my studio, but I really have no idea. I know you're supposed to have an exit strategy before you even start, but I guess that's my exit strategy, use the studio to build my home. But that's my I think yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. And I know that we're just gonna get better and better as we figure things out and I'm I'm enjoying it. I'm just taking it as it comes and letting things happen kind of organically so that I don't try to stress too much. And um, it's been working. I'm learning how to calm down and not control things and just let it happen.
Going with the
So
flow.
yeah. Hmm.
Yay. Love that so much. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's in store for you in 2 to 5 years. Because I know me and Mandy, we're trying to have this podcast in 2 to 5 years, so we'll definitely be keeping track.
Right, and we're trying to go on tour too, and I would love the opportunity to see the space that you guys have and
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you find yourself in Illinois, give me a shout out and we'll make it happen. I'd love to have you check it out. So
yes, and do a virtual tour for everyone so they can see what it looks like.
yeah, yeah. I know. Do one of those Instagram live videos that Fran was talking about today. I'm like, I'm just
Right?
waiting for the new space to be open enough to do that. So hopefully January. That's what
Yay.
we're hoping for. So
Love it.
mhm.
That sounds
So
so awesome. And thank you so much for being willing to be seen as the face behind Misfit Aerials. I know before we
Absolutely.
started the interview, you were saying that everyone was wondering. So thank you for being willing to share that story and that journey because it's I know it's going to be super inspiring. It already inspired me.
Oh,
and congrats on celebrating a year soon.
Yes.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
That is, oh, geez, so much to think about.
Right? Right. I have so many ideas now for the future. But until then, I guess thank you so much for everyone for listening to and watching this episode of Pull on the Call podcast. My name is Mandy Mac, and I have unicorn
Yes.
slippers.
The Smithers. Ooh, we.
Zoe, we did not prepare you for our ridiculous ending.
I mean, I have two different socks. That's kind of my signature thing. My students always ask me if I'm wearing two socks that match. They're like, "Is everything okay?" It helps me track. It helps me know. My right arm is a sleeve, a tattoo sleeve, so I always know which is my right arm. So then I just got to remember which sock, and then it makes it easier for me when I'm reviewing my videos to go, "Oh, okay, I know where I'm at." So, mhm.
You were prepared then.
Yeah.
Signature.